Welcome, soul family, to the second episode of The Ineffable Mystic. And today's Ineffable Mystic is Dr. Nikita Gupta, and she is a spiritual teacher, mainly focusing on Kriya Kundalini and healing. And her healing is mainly based on the concept of chakras. So, thank you for being here. Dr. Nikita, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Rio. Thank you so much for calling me on your podcast. I'm so happy about it. And I am a scientific researcher, actually. I'm still practicing my research. And 3 years back, my whole life changed after my spiritual awakening. I was extremely logical person. Like until I see a proof right in front of me that something is the truth, I won't believe it. Like I have to see the proofs of it. But then I started having dreams. I started having certain things which just did not feel real. And I started to face the truth within me, which was trying to come out all this time, but I was somewhere ignoring it. So, this was the time I actually went into this side of practice of spirituality, starting with Kriya Kundalini, where I could accept my authentic self. And yeah, I'm still on it, learning every day, healing myself. Yeah.
Yeah, as we say, healing is a journey, not a destination, right? So even when we
Right.
know so much, we are still healing. And I totally relate to your story because that's been kind of my story as well. So, what are the areas that you help your clients with? What problems do they come to you with?
I tend to attract a lot of people having relationship issues, and I help them first love themselves. What I have understood through my own relationships is unless we love ourselves, it's very difficult to, love another person and attract that kind of a love, because we have our different attachments. We have our childhood trauma, and we expect a certain thing from our partner. But unless we feel love within, it's so difficult to just carry on and have a good relationship. So I help them with self-worth, self-love, and eventually it gets into having happy relationships.
Yeah, so unless you have a happy relationship with yourself, like it's difficult to expect the same from others as well, right?
True, that's true.
So, what
Yeah.
is your specialty among all the modalities that you practice? What is your main specialty, you would say?
My main starting point is the chakra system.
Mhm.
So according to the traditional chakra system, we start from the root chakra, the sacral, and we go on till the crown. So, what I understand is that first you need to feel stable, you need to get out of your survival mode. This is all about root chakra. Unless you take care of that, you cannot move ahead.
Yeah.
You have to feel stable, you have to feel safe and grounded and feel like you're taken care of. You're not scared about dying, you're not scared about somebody harming you at every moment. So this is something is related to the root chakra. So even if somebody comes to me with a relationship issue, I first work on the root chakra, and then slowly we get into the other chakras. Like accepting ourselves is all about the second chakra, accepting our unique expression, our sexuality,
Mm.
and then comes the willpower to actually take a step, the solar plexus. And that's how I usually base my coaching sessions on or practices on.
That makes a lot of sense as well. Because I always say, like, any problem you have in life, whether it's so-called spiritual or whatever, in any other area of your life, start from the root chakra because that's where the main issue lies. Because as when you heal your root chakra, you come to your body and then your intuition opens up. Then the next step is
Yeah,
automatically revealed to you. And also, like, when you start healing the root chakra, other chakras also start falling into place on their own with time. So I
that's
also go by this method as well. So I see a lot of parallels between us as well as practitioners.
I know.
It's
Yeah, that's
uncanny.
true. I remember last time you mentioned that about root chakra. You start with root chakra, and I was like, "This is what I do."
Mm.
Yeah,
So tell us your story, love. What brought you to this place in your life where you are confidently practicing all your modalities? Like where were you before? As you said, you were into the sciences, as I was as well. So like, what brought you
Yeah.
to this place in your life?
In, I think, third or fourth year of my PhD, I started feeling like I want to do something else. Like I would look at everyone else completely engrossed into science and always talking about science. I'm good at it.
What
I
was
love
your
it. I
what
use,
was your PhD subject? Sorry to interrupt you.
yeah. No problem. It was material science. So
Okay.
I make sensors, solar cells, sensors,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
nanomaterials kind
Mm-hmm.
of. So, that institute is filled with, people who are completely engrossed in science. Like, if you look at a person, they care about nothing else but science. So I felt out of place and I started searching for other things that I want to do, like maybe teach or so many things. I was feeling so lonely that for a good amount of time, I considered being a massage therapist
Yeah, me too.
because I was, what?
Because when you are shifting from the sciences to this part, spiritual, so-called
Yeah.
spiritual, or working with people, I was already working with people, but not in this way. But when you are shifting from there to here, like the first thing that comes to your mind is massage because that's more socially accepted and it's also like covered
Exactly.
under insurance. So you're like, I'll choose the safe option, right? That's
I
why.
know. My God. I know there is more that we can relate on.
Yeah.
Nice. Good. Around third year of my PhD, I was in a long distance relationship. Like my partner, he went to the US, I was in India, and for 3 years we did not even meet. It was like USA, already there is a time difference. So that loneliness was so hard for me that I was just trying to cope up because for me, my love language is physical touch. And I used to feel like I I just want someone to hug me,
Mm.
and it would bring in so much guilt and so much shame inside of me that I'm such a there's something wrong with me that I need so much. My partner is like acts of service person. So he didn't really get it, like, why do I need so much? He gets it that long distance is tough, but I felt very bad inside. I couldn't accept that I have such a big physical need to be with someone. And it was for a long time that I kind of fought it. And then I was like, I can't do anything about it. There was a time when I went into complete guilt that why do I want to hug someone all the time? And then I had to accept it. And that's why I was searching for a practice where I don't judge myself, where I can get rid of this overwhelming guilt
Mm.
of why I want what I want, why I can't be happy in my scientific field, why I can't be happy in a long distance relationship, why I don't have friends who understand that I can hug them, or
Mm.
something like that. Like so much uh, guilt of just random stuff. So that's why I was just tired and I was looking for something to help me out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a guilt of just being you because in society
Yeah.
we are just taught to behave and expect things to be in a certain way, but people can be different and not everybody fits into that mold. So it's like just a guilt of
Yeah.
being you, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many times a lot of us are not really accepted in their childhood as they are. Like we, a lot of times, our parents are not equipped enough to understand what we want.
Yeah.
So for them, it's like, I don't get you. You have money, you have food, you have a job. What else do you need? Like they care about that financial thing and the health thing, and they assume that this is all you need.
Yeah.
But that's not true. There's so many things that you need. You need emotional support and, just be accepted as you are. So when you're not accepted as you are, you try to just find out some place where you belong.
So what was the tipping point you would say when you realized that okay, I will have to leave that behind and then pursue this?
Uh, yeah, so there was a certain point. I um I was having a lot of commitment issues in my relationship, and because of my loneliness and because of a lot of childhood wounding, I was getting attracted to other people in
Mm,
my life who I can see physically, and that attraction was so overwhelming. And I was not able to understand that I've barely talked to these people.
mm,
I haven't interacted with them, but I am getting attracted to them. So I started therapy, and they kind of did not understand it. They just said that this is all related to loneliness, but this was not all related to loneliness. And then I found out about past lives.
mm,
Like sometimes you can be related to a few people from the past lives. So even if in this life you've hardly talked to them, they can have a huge impact on you. And sometimes these people are karmic, they are here to teach you a lesson. So they basically have huge attraction, but they don't give you a comfort, they are here to just teach you a lesson. So I felt abandonment from a few people who I was attracted to, but I did not acknowledge in my heart that I was attracted to them. And
mm,
when they just ghosted me, I had to face my huge abandonment wound. And my partner was the only stable person in my life because I was not feeling secure with my parents, in my family. Like, I haven't felt understood or loved at home as much. So I was afraid of losing that one secure footing that I had, my partner,
mm,
because I was like, I can't get into a marriage feeling attracted to someone else, but they are not there. And I don't know what to do about this attraction. And I don't know how to face my partner because I feel like I'm cheating on them.
yeah.
So this became so overwhelming. I was in my Buddhism practice, Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism practice for 10 years. And
Mhm,
I set a goal for 1 year that I want to get rid of these thoughts.
yeah.
I want to be completely committed to my partner and not get affected by the people who are not even there, who are not even communicating with me. Like, I don't want to care about them so much.
Mm,
And I practiced, I did so many things, and nothing changed. And it felt like a no solution zone. Like, I really want my partner and have a completely committed relationship with him, but I don't know how to. It feels wrong because there's so many things in my mind I have to deal with, and whoever I talk to is judging me. I cannot talk to any friend, I cannot talk to a therapist because they don't get it, like, what's wrong with you?
mm,
And maybe I didn't have a good therapist at that time. And then I got into this understanding of twin flame relationships, and our teacher, they taught us Kriya Kundalini. So at that time, I just decided to take some time in separation because I was trying to understand what's going on.
mm,
So my survival fears came out. Like, I had no money, I had just finished my PhD. And what I'm doing, I'm trying to feel peace within. So practicing Kriya Kundalini for 7 months straight, every day with yoga, pranayam, and connecting with your higher self,
mm,
whatever they taught, I somehow felt so free for the
mm,
first time in my life. Nobody judged me there. They were not like, oh, why do you have attraction? You're a bad person. Nobody judged me. They're like, oh, cool. It's just feelings. Nothing matters. Like, it's okay. They don't really make it a big issue. And then I was able to feel acceptance within me. And practicing this somehow cleared up that abandonment wound. So, because I had such a low self worth that if somebody abandoned me, I felt like I was the wrong person.
yes.
I have some faults. I don't deserve love and all those things. So, but when you start working on Kriya Kundalini, one by one, your chakra heals.
Mm,
And I start loving myself for who I am and, forgiving those things which I thought were too big, like as
yeah.
if I've done some crime. So I kind of forgave myself that it's fine. And, uh, and I found it so liberating. I just continued. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's such a deep journey that you took, and I'm sure it must have been so overwhelming as well as deeply transformative for you, right? That
Yeah.
experience, that whole, you said 7 months?
Yeah, 7 months of
Yes.
continuous practice, like no breaks.
Yeah, that's huge because even having that sort of commitment is rare because people do pick up modalities and they're not able to continue and then they don't see the effects, as they should. And being a past life regression therapist, I can totally relate to that thing that you said, that we sometimes meet people who are somehow comically, attracted to us, or we are attracted to them in some way and we can't explain it. And it can be sometimes socially not acceptable as well. But then there are those feelings that you can't deny, and you know that it's wrong, so you also don't want to act on it. All this push and pull is going on. And I do agree that these relationships might come up because they bring out certain things inside you, your shadows, so that okay, this is there, abandonment wound is there, uh, you know, for example, loneliness is there, self love is not there. So you get to know like what are the things that I need to heal to not, I won't say not feel that, but maybe handle your feelings in a better way, in a more productive way,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
And also the amount of self-awareness it took for you
Yeah,
to realize all
that's
that is also a big thing because not everyone is that self-aware as well. And I believe that those mind body techniques such as the Kriya Kundalini and any other mind body technique that combines mind body and soul together, these are the most
yeah,
effective because you cannot heal everything just by talking in therapy, and you can't
that's true.
heal just by working out or just
Yeah.
energy healing. So you have to combine all of these things. That's when the biggest transformation happens, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely right. Like even in therapy these days, they've started somatic exercises
Yeah.
because it's required when you're feeling like completely, not there. It's like you're just talking, but you're not feeling a thing. The whole point of therapy is lost. So
Hmm.
they help you release those emotions through somatic exercises. So yeah, like
Yeah.
things need to be done all together.
When I was learning past life regression therapy, there were people in my batch who were also like psychologists, and it was great to see that they are taking this up because they recognize that it's required and it's important. And if you are a psychologist as well, you can give a like a very well balanced treatment.
That's true. That's true. Like
Mm.
being a psychologist, it helps because you understand the trauma at such a deep level, and
Yes.
you don't want that person to, trigger it in a wrong way. So
Yeah.
you get that, and then at the same time, through exercises, you're also helping to relieve and not just go round and round, round and round.
Yeah. Yeah. The main thing is that we live too much in our minds, so when you come back to
Yeah,
your body, then things start to change.
that's so true.
So,
Yeah.
have you met with any resistance in your life when you started this work? Were there any people who were against it, who were saying, what are you doing? Why are you going this way? Or anything of that sort?
Actually, I have been very vocal about everything with
Mhm.
my partner, who's now my husband. So I was a logical person, but he is logical to another extreme.
Mm.
And I told that, I have been feeling like this for this person and I'm feeling bad about this. So obviously, it disturbed our trust, his trust on this relationship. And, but also, he felt very like this doesn't make sense. To him it felt like, what are you talking about? Like you've gone insane. And so I felt like he didn't really get it, that what I meant. Like I used to have vivid dreams about people, and I would feel bad that I am having these dreams, and I would see like strange occurrences, like I'm seeing 1111 before somebody appears. And then all these things, like when I would tell my husband, like my partner, about it, he would feel that this is something wrong with you. So he did not want me to get more into it. And he was like, can't you just ignore this and like not think so much about it?
Yeah.
Because he did not get like what these spiritual things mean. And I didn't have anyone to tell me that it's all right. I didn't have anyone to tell me that there are angels, there are spiritual beings, and all this. So I faced resistance in the way that nobody got it. My therapist didn't get it. Parents, there's no way we can even talk about it to them because my mom actually had schizophrenia. So even if I once bought an amethyst crystal because I was having some sleep issues
Mm.
with a healed crystal, and she threw it because she thought it's harmful because they get these thoughts that I am evil or she is
Yeah.
evil or this thing is evil, so they get these thoughts. So at home it was not at all an environment where I can share what I feel. So basically I had to come to a point where I don't care I get support or not, and I have to just tell them that I'm doing it and just do it anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. I have faced that as well. So I like nobody in my family because everybody is a doctor, and I also did my post graduation in prosthodontics, and so they were like all set up for the um medical career. But then all of these things started happening. I've always had all these experiences, but I kept ignoring them. But at that point, when I finished my education, like there was these huge incidents that were happening all around me and with me. Random people on the road would grab me and tell me my future, and then exact thing would happen after a few days, things like that. And I was like, what is it? Am I in a movie? What is this happening? And
My
that's
God.
why like I was forced to go into this direction. I also didn't want to step
Yeah,
so away from what I have been doing for the past 25 years, but it was kind of,
yeah,
you can say, almost forced upon me. But I also had a choice because probably I planned it before we were born, right?
yeah,
And
that's true.
I think most people on spiritual journey face this challenge that people around them don't understand it because they have not had the same experiences. And
Yeah,
the big thing that I do in all my sessions and all my like programs is whenever someone comes and shares their experience, first of all I encourage them to share their experience, and then without any judgment I validate their experiences, because yes, if you are
that's
experiencing angels or if you are experiencing energies or paranormal stuff, then 99% probability that it's real because I
yeah,
have faced that
yeah,
as well myself. I kept thinking all my life that probably I am also schizophrenic or something because I could hear voices, I could see things when I was a child, then I blocked it. But the clear audience, the sense of hearing, it was on always. So I always felt like, something is wrong with me. Only later, when my husband came, when he also was experiencing things with me, that was when I
mm,
confirmed that okay, I'm not crazy. It's actually happening, right? So that's one of the
my
first
God.
thing that I do with my clients and students as well, is to validate them, because that's a big piece that they are missing in their life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important because that's the first thought we get. Am I crazy? And
Yeah.
you want someone to tell you that, it's happening for a good reason.
Yeah. And we go from
Yeah,
pillar to post looking for answers, and only when
yeah,
we find a teacher or someone who actually knows what's happening is when we feel like, a sigh of relief that, okay, I don't have to run
yeah,
anymore. This is real. Now I can
yeah,
work on it, right?
exactly. And then this is not happening to harm you in any way.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
not
happening
happening.
for you.
So, as you mentioned that, as you mentioned your challenges in your life, is there any other big challenge that you overcame with, again, self-awareness and any spiritual modalities that you used?
Yeah, actually, so many challenges just get solved on their own when we stop worrying about them. It's so
Yeah,
crazy. Like I have so because of loneliness, I was having so many PCOD issues,
Mm.
and I was having hormonal imbalance, and my face was like hub of acne,
Mm.
and I was gaining weight like anything. And before that, I had pretty good skin. And then suddenly all this started happening, and everybody would shame me for that. There was not a single day where I wouldn't hear some five, six comments like, "What happened to you? How
Same here.
horrible it looked."
Same here.
My God,
Yeah.
who are you? Are you my soul sister or something?
Yeah, definitely. Like even your
I
Instagram
need to
account,
have
like it has like 1111 in it, and I was like, okay, that's a sign. Yeah.
I
I
need
also
to
used
have
to
a
have,
past with you to get it like where exactly we were connected.
yeah, we need to have that, I think.
Do that.
So like I also used to suffer from acne from the very beginning. I don't know any time when I did not have acne in my life, but only in the
Yeah.
past three years I would say it has started decreasing, not because of my age, but because of the conscious choices that I've made in my life, like Reiki healing. First of all, it took away a big layer of healing that actually decreased my acne. Then my body prompted me to change my diet. So I was like, I'm having all this acne. Like I asked my body, like, what should I do? Tell me. You tell me what should I do to remove this? And I suddenly became lactose intolerant. I was before as well, but I didn't notice it. But this time it was more pronounced to let me know that this
Oh,
is what I want to, remove. So I removed dairy from my diet, and that again uh, removed another layer of issues, and it was still happening. So then I came to know that I had insulin resistance, so that's like a beginning of diabetes. You can have
yeah.
insulin resistance for like 15-20 years before you develop pre-diabetes, and since it runs in the family, so I was like, okay. So I did intermittent fasting. I don't eat for about 14 hours, and like
Mhm.
from 8 p.m. to about 10, 11, sometimes 12 p.m. in the morning. I don't eat anything that has
Okay.
sugar.
Oh,
And yeah, and initially it was difficult, but now I'm completely used to it. I don't feel hungry, and I don't have that amount of acne. It's just one or two a month
yeah.
now. So I'm good now. Right.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I think we have so many similarities, but we have also some complementary things which
Yes.
I'm learning from you. Like so many things that, I am thinking from the other side. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking from this side, I'm thinking from this side.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it happened with self-acceptance. I hated myself so much. So only applying topical treatments or only
Yes.
eating healthy food was not working.
Yes.
I was eating healthy. I was doing every kind of thing that I was aware of, but somewhere I hated myself.
Yeah, there is a huge emotional component in that as well. I wanted to mention that as well. You reminded me. So, like, there was a component of not putting myself out there as well, hiding myself.
Yeah.
So, my acne was hiding me, right? So, as soon as I came out completely authentically, then again, like, it happens in layers. Like, there are so many layers in just acne. And, like, imagine if there's another health issue, how many layers there might be.
I know. There's so many layers, and it my I have my Guruji. So the first time I asked about this, what to do about this, he told me to do Reiki healing for my heart, for because blood purifies from the heart chakra, from my solar plexus, because your gut is deeply related to your skin and your acne, and the Agya chakra, because if your Agya chakra is doing good, then your body's wisdom works for you. You know what to do. So that was the starting of it. But I think just practicing Kriya Kundalini regularly, you don't even have to strictly work on a particular thing. So it happens that if I'm so worried about a particular result, that I want to have clear skin, I want to start reducing weight, because there was a time when I was exercising like mad for almost a year, following diet and everything, and my weight was increasing. It's like, what the hell? I don't like this. Like, why? So when you're so focused on the result, it actually stresses you, and you don't get the result, even if you're doing everything that is good. So there comes a time when you just accept however you are. You don't feel like you don't deserve to be loved because you look a certain way. You feel fine. It's like this. I will love myself the way I am right now, and it's fine. Like, I'm still gonna have healthy practices because they help me, not because I want to start loving myself after I achieve them.
Yeah.
So that stress goes away and then it works. So you there was a time in my life when I just stopped worrying about it, and then it started changing. So maybe I was too stressed,
Yeah.
too determined to achieve something. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to mention something, a concept which is unhealthy attachment. So we can have unhealthy attachment to our goals as well and our illness. So if there is something that is bothering you, and if you have an unhealthy attachment, meaning that you are so stressed about it that you're not even, again, it comes to root chakra, you're not even balanced in your root chakra, you are always stressed, and so that's not going to help you. And even if we see on the chart of the densities of consciousness, if you've seen that, acceptance comes somewhere in the middle. So everything
Yeah.
good, that is positivity, love, healing, everything comes above it. So
Above it.
acceptance comes first, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Acceptance is that the heart space only. So obviously you
Hmm.
have to work through all that
Yeah.
guilt, shame, fear, and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you worked with any teachers? I'm sure you had teachers on your path, any coach or mentors for your professional, personal, or spiritual growth, and what was your experience?
Yeah, I have had many teachers. So after the Buddhism practice, I joined this Angels on the Earth workshop. It was a very small workshop, and they kind of took away that, you know, shame that if I'm not doing something every day, oh, God will not help me.
Mm.
Made it, I felt like angels are my friends. So that was a very huge part of my beginning. And Kriya Kundalini practice is obviously my Guruji and one of his students who's also a teacher. So they both like Param Sir, and my Guruji is Yogi Buddha Deva, and like, we call that thing as Yogast Vidya.
Mm.
He helps us to understand yoga sthita, like how to be in balance. So he has been that one person who I have reached out to every time I don't know what to do about a certain thing. And he is my Kriya Kundalini teacher, Reiki teacher. Learned from them mainly.
Yeah, that's good that you had so many different learnings from one teacher, because you, first of all, you trust them, and then energy might be matching, and then, all the concepts that they have learned, they also like overlap each other. So when you learn them from one single person, it helps to like have that uniform understanding, right?
Actually, I want to share something. This is
Yeah.
not the first teacher. I have had so many. I was in Art of Living. I had
Hmm.
Ram as my teacher, and then I was in Buddhism. I had so many mentors, but I never connected. I
Hmm.
never felt they get me. Like, they
Hmm.
are there, they have very good energy, they want to help and everything. But there was some missing element because of which I could not just submit. Like, I
Yeah.
trust you and I'm just going for it. Even if I did, I would somewhere not do what my heart wanted me to do. And
Hmm.
then I would again go into unalignment, like misalignment. So I have had so many teachers for like 10 or 11 years. And then I manifested it. I prayed for a few months that I want a teacher who understands me and who does not judge me, and who I can have personal sessions with. Like, I don't want Sadhguru or some so big teacher that, I
Hmm.
can never meet them. because I like people can make them, but financial conditions won't allow
Mm.
me to. So I've manifested it. Someone who I kind of told the universe that I'm ready to be mentored by one guru. Yeah, so my therapist who I've been seeing for approximately like 3 years, and before that, whoever I saw were not like aligning with me. They were
Mm.
good, but somehow they were not aligning with me. And I manifested it. Like I prayed for, I think, 2 or 3 months. And now I feel good because for me, shift people, like change from one person to another person is not easy. I
Mm.
feel like I don't want to do this. I have to like tell the whole thing and prepare myself for a completely new person. It feels very tough.
Yeah, I relate to that as well. I've had many teachers in my life as well. So they were there for different things. So first teacher was for past life regression therapy. They were husband and wife couple, very nice, very, I would say they're very advanced souls, and I am so lucky to meet them. And they actually showed me the possibilities. So I didn't know that this whole world existed and this was normal. And they showed me what was possible. They helped me meet all these other people who were also like highly educated people and delving into spirituality so deeply, and that validated me as well. After that, I met my Reiki teacher, who is again, I think she's 90 years old now at this point, and she is so experienced. Like she has been practicing Reiki all her life, and being just in her presence was itself was so healing. And the energy
Yeah,
that she had, I felt physically
yeah,
felt the energy. Like I thought it's just some placebo thing when I went there. I said, okay, even if it's a placebo, I learn it because it helps. But then I
yeah,
actually physically felt the Reiki energy, physically felt things happening, things leaving my energy body. Then I felt like, no, this is real, right? So she showed me another dimension of life. And then I met another teacher who was completely online. Again, no personal sessions, but I learned psychic reading from her. So, again, another dimension. And
yeah,
then comes the business part. So then I wanted to build my own business on this. I had so many different teachers. And again, as you were shopping around kind of for teachers, I was shopping around for those business teachers. And they were all very good in their craft. But again, the energy was not matching. So some were too
yeah,
masculine, too structured. I did not want to be that way. I'm more free flowing. I wake up and then
right.
I decide what I want to do on a particular
Yeah,
day. So I could not have like set hard plans for like my business like that. And
yeah.
some taught that you have to be in a box, in a niche, and you can't post about anything else. So even that was like very stifling,
Hey,
right?
I feel I have
So
you seen this again? Like,
those strategies do work for some people, but it was not working
yeah,
for me. So I also did like go to so many different teachers, and finally now last
yeah,
year in December, I knew that this business mentor is the mentor for me, but I
mm,
wasn't in a place where I was going to invest in them because I was so
yeah,
scared of that investment. And I was
right.
like, I always ask the universe, like, whenever I'm scared, I just say, if you want me to do this, then provide the resources. And then it
Wow,
happened. It provided me the resources, and I was like, okay, you gave me the resources, so now I'll just go ahead without thinking. And I did
wow,
it, and it has been the most transformative mentorship again, and it's almost one on one, and it's so good, and it helped me again step into another version, I can say, more closer to my higher self or authentic self. And it's
yeah,
the result of that I'm sitting here and speaking to you right now, doing collaborations. Before I wasn't able to do it, right? So, yes, like
yeah,
every teacher that we come across is important for that time and to help us know more about ourselves. And then ultimately, when you're ready, They say when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened.
I feel like, yeah, whoever I have learned, who I have encountered, they have helped me in some way. And only because my direction was different, I
Mm.
had to shift my teachers as well, like change
Yeah.
my teachers as well. So the before even starting Kriya Kundalini, I went for a life coaching certification because I was coached first and I was so
Mm.
impressed because, loving yourself, having that mindset where you love yourself every day, people never talk about it. People were so much like, you did this bad thing, so you beat yourself about it.
Yeah.
Like people are all like that, even in my work, even with other spiritual practices, like, oh, you didn't chant today, this bad. Like, so
Yeah.
that, yeah, getting into that environment where I can, like, say positive things about myself, even though I have done some things that are not so good, I should not beat myself about it and just move on so that I don't keep doing those things. And how I'm manifesting bad things in my life because I have that programming in my life. Like I had this programming in my life, like when I need a person, when I really need help from a person, they're not available. Because
Mm.
I had faced it like all my life. Whenever I needed them, I'll call somebody, they won't pick up my phone. They would be just busy on that particular day when I need to talk to them. It became a negative programming.
Mm.
And I got rid of it by doing, that e-codes. We call it affirmations, but
Yeah.
very personalized. So you have to say those personalized affirmations to yourself so that you can reprogram your mind that people are available. Universe is going to send you someone if you really need it. So then I realized, oh, this is all my own doing. People are not there in my life because I believe they're not there. Like, I was like, what? Why? So that was important to realize that taking my own accountability for stuff happening in my life. And then Buddhism taught me compassion, huge compassion. Like how if something is happening in your life, like even then you can have compassion for the other person, and like you don't even feel like blaming anyone
Yeah.
because all the time it's just a huge compassion energy for 10 years. So that taught me that, which I'm really grateful for, because it's easy. When you have compassion, it's easy. The only thing you have to learn is to keep it for yourself also. That's all.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel that when you read books such as books from Dr. Brian Weiss, I'm not sure if you know
Mm,
him. You know him?
no.
So Dr. Brian Weiss is, you can say, the modern pioneer of past life regression therapy.
Okay.
As you know, like past life regression therapy has been existing in yoga as well. It's
Yeah.
called Prasava or rebirthing.
Yeah.
It was brought to the modern world once again by Dr. Brian Weiss. He was a psychologist who was practicing on a patient. He was practicing hypnosis on her and trying to take her to
Mm,
the root cause of her problems in this life, but she went to a past life instead. And then she began seeing all these different past lives. And then she also told a lot about Dr. Brian Weiss himself, like his family, his father who had crossed over, his son who has also crossed over even before birth. So even the things that the public didn't know about, she knew about because she was tapping into those fields. And he was a complete non-believer, but then he turned into a believer after he started working with that patient. And he wrote these books about it, and he did not publish it for around 10 years. So one day he was like, no, this needs to come out. So then he just published it, and then it became one of the bestsellers in the world, biggest bestsellers. And my teacher who taught me past life regression therapy was a student of Dr. Brian Weiss. So I have like
yeah.
a that connection with him.
The
And
first, no, second generation, no, third generation, but yeah, from the main person.
yeah, yeah. So, and my teacher also is big yogi, so he has all those Eastern and Western both combined. So that was again very good. And I don't know why I started talking about him, but here
No,
we
it's
are.
good. It's good. For me, it's like I haven't done so much research on past life
Hmm.
regression. There was a phase in my life where I was so much into it because of my, why I'm having so much attraction and
Hmm.
everything. And I did face some things. Like I bought a course for past life regression.
Hmm.
You have to do it on your own, and they just you set an intention,
Hmm.
and then you will get some vision, and you have to follow it, and you
Hmm.
have to just trust that whatever is happening is to reveal those past things that are
Hmm.
important for you.
Hmm.
And I did like I did see some crazy things happening. Like
Hmm.
every movie I was seeing, I was understanding stuff from it. And then
Hmm.
in my vision, I would be like, okay, go to this place and turn towards your top right. I was like,
Hmm.
what? So I would go to that place and turn towards my top right, and then I would see the person who has been affecting me so much, and then I realize, oh, this person is related to my past life. That's why I see this person.
Hmm.
So that was the phase when I got into it, but I didn't really get a calling to learn.
Hmm.
I just wanted answers.
Yeah, so it can absolutely be done with meditation, but the difference between a recorded one and a one-on-one one is that you will be guided accordingly in your own session. So whatever you see, you'll be guided accordingly instead of the recorded session, which is just going on, like a recording. So there's a
I
huge
have
difference. Yeah.
I have had, because my Guruji is
Yeah.
a past life therapist also. So I've had like 3 sessions with him, and I discovered my past life in Egypt.
Mm.
And in one of them, I couldn't really process it, and I saw myself as a rabbit.
Mm.
So there were a
Yeah.
couple of things. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see yourself as animals as well. We might have had animal lives as well. When I was a small child, like I used to always have dreams of flying, like flapping my wings like this, and feeling actually like how you flap your wings and how would you feel.
In
And
dreams,
then
in
yeah,
dreams,
in dreams, and
I have done that too. I have felt that too.
I would just fly like over rivers, over landscapes, and I would be so high. And I feel like in some time I might have been an eagle or something because eagle is the one who flies so high at such a high altitude. So I was seeing all those things, and every night I was like, where would I go today? So I always like going to new places.
Wow, I feel I definitely have been a rabbit. I have seen that twice. Like,
Hmm.
or my spirit animal is rabbit, one of these.
Yeah. So have you had any spiritual or paranormal experiences or psychic experiences that you can share
Like,
with us?
I don't know what we would call this. It's like my Akashic records come in my dreams.
Hmm.
And it's like I had to learn it. I note down my dreams whenever I remember them. So I have this huge note in my phone where I keep writing every day. So first, it did not make sense to me, like what is happening. And I just got the guidance, you should write it. So I kept on writing, and then I started getting it, like what it was. So the fascinating thing is, in person, if you tell me, if you're my very good friend and you're hurt because of me, I may know that you're hurt because of me, because you are not treating me the usual way, but I won't know how you're feeling
Hmm.
unless I feel it. So in my dream space, I would feel the feelings of that another person, like I would mirror their feelings. It
Hmm.
would be like I am them and they are me.
Yeah.
Like, one of the examples I'll give you, I saw with my mom. And my mom was practicing music. She was like playing guitar in my dream. She doesn't play guitar, but in my dream, she was playing guitar. And she comes and tells me that I have to go to this place because I want to learn it more, and I want to, explore my options and go
Hmm.
to the full scope. And in my heart, I felt so deeply abandoned. I was like, how can you not think about me and only think about your future? Like, how can you just say it so casually that you're doing this, and I will be all alone when you go? So then I realized that how like how alone my mom feels, how abandoned my mom feels. Because when I had my past life in Egypt, I knew my mom in that life. She was a relative who asked me to not go to a certain place, and I went there and I got killed.
Hmm.
So she feels afraid that if I'm going somewhere far away, then I may get killed.
Hmm.
So she kind of protects me, and she's so overprotective, like, don't do this, don't do this. She doesn't let me practice dance. I used to dance when I was 2 years old, not even 2 years old. And I left dancing because she was so overprotective that she didn't allow me to. But then I realized that in that Egypt life, I was a dancer and I had left home to practice that. But
Hmm.
people were after me and I was killed. So I understood that how deeply abandoned she felt, like for I don't know how long. And so I have seen that with so many people I know, so many random people. Like I have just met them, and I would kiss them and then have some, like I'm like, how can I have this thing? But then later I understood, oh, this person has sexual feelings towards me, and this is a girl. Like my orientation is also not that, but
Hmm.
in my dreams I would just experience everything they are experiencing. So it was scary at first, but then slowly I kind of got used to it, and I seeing it as a gift. Because I used to always, try to have conversations. If somebody is not treating me well, they suddenly ghosted me, I would just, feel so mad that why can't they tell me that they're upset with something? Maybe we can work on it. Why are you not talking to me?
Yeah.
Why are you not replying to me? But once I saw these dreams, I was so safe. I was like, I know, I don't have to ask you. I know your intentions. So you are good to me. Even if you are doing some busy things and you're not replying, I know I don't have to mind because I see your intentions. So it brings so much, like, I felt like it's a beautiful gift. Like, I loved it.
Yeah.
But it started with terrible experiences. It started with my past life memories where I was sexually harassed in my past lives. And I experience those things very vividly, experiencing those pains, like when people are harassing me. And I was like, why after every month I have to see nightmares like something like this is happening? I have relatives who have harassed me. Then I have other people who have done some really bad shit to me. And then, but once I process it, once I cry about it, it goes away. It's
Hmm.
like one by one, those experiences are somehow leaving my energetic body for me to be prepared to see these Akashic records and like
Yeah.
see the current things. So one by one, the past things got cleared. Now I'm at peace with them and I see it as a gift. It's like beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very deep and it's very heavy, I would say, as well, to go through those experiences. And I
Yeah.
think that, like, when you are beginning to heal, then one of the few things that happens is also your past lives that need release, they start coming to the surface. So they might come to the surface in the form of just emotions or people around you or actual images, experiences as you had. And I also, like, when my actual spiritual awakening started, I had spontaneous past life experiences in my dreams as well. So every night, like, it happened many consecutive nights, where every night I would go into like another time in another person's body, and then living their experiences, their life, and knowing what their life is all about, their emotions and everything, and knowing the whole story. And I thought, okay, this is how writers get their stories from. I am a writer as well by nature, so I thought it's okay, like this is a short story or some, novel I'm getting to write. So I took those stories and wrote them, and people really loved them. They were like, whoa, you are writing some Game of Thrones type thing. And I was like, yeah. But that was real lives that I came to know later. And that was the beginning of, that energy leaving my system, so this is how it happens. And yeah, about Akashic records as well, I think whenever we tap into, let's say, any kind of, information about another person or ourselves, we are like tapping into the Akashic records. But having to access them like this, like going into the records, that I have not experienced yet. But I think you were experiencing that as well, right? You were going into the records.
Yeah. I don't do it consciously. It
Hmm.
always happens in so I never know like today who will appear. Like there may be a person who I haven't talked to for 2 years, and they will appear, and it will always make me understand something. Like I understood that why there was a group of people who stopped talking to me. And in my dreams I understood that this person, my closest friend, had spread something. Like told her,
Hmm.
I told her to not tell anyone. She told all her friends because she didn't like that everyone was giving me a lot of attention. So that is why everyone stopped talking to me. I used to feel like, oh, why they're not talking? Why they're not talking? Why they're not talking? Why I'm feeling judged? Because they were actually judging me because that one person told some things, and maybe not in a way that was the complete truth.
Hmm.
So uh, I didn't understand for a very long time until I got the confirmation that she really did it.
Hmm.
Because it you in your dreams you always give it a benefit of the doubt. You don't want to judge another person until it happens like 3 4 times. You've been
Yeah.
told the same thing, then you're like, it has to be true.
Yeah, and these are also lessons, like lessons repeat themselves until we learn
Yeah,
them. So they will keep coming back, and
yeah.
we have to, and they sometimes even become bigger and bigger and bigger. So we, at that point when they become so big that they're disrupting your life, then you have no choice but to look at them. And life has a very beautiful way of like bringing that to us. Like, these are your lessons. If you don't take them, I'll make them bigger.
I know, seriously. If you ignore them, they're like,
Yeah.
bam, 10x intensity.
It's almost like
Yeah,
a game.
so I know. And then you're like, okay, I'm feeling it too much. I better process it right away.
Yeah, yeah. So, what do
Yeah.
you do when there's a time when you don't know what to do, or your intuition is not working, or you don't have guidance and you don't know what to do next? So, what do you do in that kind of, in between time?
So my favorite thing is to connect with Archangel Michael.
Oh,
Uh, I,
here as well. Another thing.
my God, I really need to know the depths now.
Yeah. The
I want
Archangel
to
Michael
have
is
a
big
session.
with the people who practice Reiki, because he is
Yeah, I
vibrating.
Reiki.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
so whoever is practicing Reiki, Archangel Michael is there with them, whether they know it or not.
Wow.
So it's because of the dicomio symbol, because that is the one that vibrates at the frequency of Archangel Michael. So um, there was
I
one
didn't know
time,
this.
yeah, there was one time in my Reiki class when Archangel Michael himself appeared, and like when I started the attunement, I saw him as a fairy, like red, bright red purple light that came from above and just settled down on the ground. And then when I was like sh- drawing the symbols, my hands were burning, like literally fire was coming out of my hands. And it was unbelievable to me as well as the students. And they were like, what was this? Like, they were sitting a few feet away from me, and even then they could feel the fire like energy coming towards them. And then after the attunement, one of my students who discovered that she was a very open clairvoyant she discovered in the Reiki class. She told me that she could actually see Archangel Michael, and she didn't even know who Archangel Michael is, but she described his appearance, and that's how I was like,
Wow.
yeah, it was him. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
So I'm
So
sure you,
with me,
yeah, he's there with you as well, I'm sure, because you also practice Reiki, right?
yeah, I practice Reiki. So for me, I haven't been so clairvoyant when I'm not in my meditation. Like if I'm in my meditation and I'm actually visualizing, I can see it, or in my dreams, I can see it. But otherwise, I feel it. And the only experience I know is when I practice my Kriya Kundalini, I feel like white light
Mm.
all around. I thought it was just my experience and maybe sunlight was more now. But
Yeah.
then one of my friends, she was like, "What happened to you, man? You're glowing." And I was like, I didn't know that it was visible to other people. I thought it was just visible to me. Like, what happened to you? Like 100-watt bulb. Like, it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's
So,
called
because
that. Yeah, that glow is has a special word in Hindi and Sanskrit. It's called tej, right? So there's that tej of
oh,
the
yeah,
deity.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that thing,
Mm.
that thing behind, yeah. So I was at that time first charging myself to give Reiki to her, and then she saw it.
Mm.
So that I have experienced, but not like full visions. So what happens when I am in completely no solution zone, like what to do? I just tell Archangel Michael that help me cleanse any kind of negative energy within me or outside me, and allow me to find some guidance, like how to just help myself right now. Just if I don't know how to pass in my test, I would ask what is the guidance to pass in my test. And if I don't even know that I have to pass a test, help me understand what it is that I have to do. So it's like very, very basic guidance. Like there will be one thing that you're looking for. So just go to the basic thing and just ask for a guidance, and then just wait. It will come whenever.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes it helps a lot to see the sun. If I just
Mm.
go for a walk into the park and sit in the sun or walk barefoot, that helps me not feel anxious and wait.
Mm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
also like practice a lot of different, you can say it was just intuitive. I didn't learn it from anybody, but practicing with nature in different ways. So like I think it's common
Memorial.
sense, because sun gives us everything that we have. All the atoms, molecules inside
Yeah.
us are coming from the sun. All the energy we have is coming from the sun. So it makes all the it makes all the sense to actually like go sit in the sun when you are ill or when you need some energy healing or cleansing. Just go sit in the sun and it will have a great effect. And also like vitamin D, a lot of us are deficient in vitamin D. When we have that, then our mindset also changes because it opens us up, right?
Yeah, definitely. Earth and sun, both of them. Like the
Mm.
way you were saying about sun, that everything we get from the sun, I feel that way about earth. Like I call earth as mother.
Mm.
And I always feel that whatever I need, I get from her. And
Yeah.
in my meditation, also, I kind of feel like she is my mom taking
Yeah.
care of me. So that feels very good. And you know that you're safe. And when you're safe, you just know what to do next.
Yeah, definitely. Are there any client success stories of any modalities that you practice that you would like to share that would help us understand better what kind of healing we can get from those?
Yeah, definitely. So there is one person who was into the twin flame dynamic, and she was experiencing a lot of supernatural things, but she was feeling she's crazy.
Mm.
So with her, she is now in a space where she can trust herself. She knows that these things are not crazy, and her I have helped her with root chakra healing so that her fears go away. And she used to see so many paranormal activities, ghosts, and everything. So she felt like secure after that. And she is able to do uh, automatic writing. Like she developed a lot of gifts because she did not see herself as crazy. So
Mm,
that happened. But I didn't intentionally do that. I just allowed her to accept how she is receiving those gifts
mm,
and to really see it as a gift, because she was feeling, oh, something is wrong with her and this and this and this. But yeah, to accept it and to be very real with herself, which takes a lot of time. It
yeah.
it takes a lot of time to be real with ourselves for a lot of people. Another person, she was into a lot of sacrificing energies,
Mm,
and she was working with an ancestral karma of sacrificing, like women sacrificing themselves. So in my coaching her about 3 months, she really understood that she doesn't have to sacrifice. Like how to not people please and really be okay with what you want. Like she was in this energy that, I if I'm not listening to my parents and if I'm not obedient to my parents, then I am a bad person.
mm,
And her mother has sacrificed her life, her mother's mother has sacrificed her life, and now she's ready to sacrifice her own happiness because she thinks she should. So, understanding ancestral patterns, and her partner, I understood his ancestral patterns of anger, like feeling like the anger was in the family lineage. So, understanding that this anger is coming out from an unbalanced solar plexus where you want to have a control. If you feel you don't know when this marriage is going to happen, when I will feel settled, you get angry. So
mm,
the anger is something you have to work on in the very like foundational level. Because if you just express the anger then and there on your partner, they will not be able to be real with you. And if they're not real with you will feel more angry because you will lose control. So that is one thing. Understanding ancestral patterns through coaching and then realizing how you can move ahead. And another person is understanding self worth, like working on the self worth, because she was feeling like all her partners don't treat her well. She is moving from one relationship to the other. They are harassing her. They are treating. It's very toxic, and she's just allowing it to happen. But after she started doing those affirmations and started understanding her own beauty, her own qualities, like now she's in a space that she knows she deserves good.
mm.
And she doesn't feel like she deserves those toxic relationships. So, yeah, it is, I think, mainly related to self worth, self esteem, and some ancestral patterns.
Thank you for sharing all these client experiences. They go so deep. And I
Yeah.
don't think that a person who is just a psychologist or just one thing can go into all these different areas like the mind, body, and soul. So, having the
Yeah.
knowledge of all these areas is so essential. And the way you go so deep into not just the person but also their ancestral karma is so good because we can carry that karma but also not know about it. It is in our
Yeah.
subconscious, right?
That's
And
so
I don't, yeah, I don't think many people even go there. Like I think ancestral karma is the one that is one of those things where people go the least. They're always worried about
true.
their mind, body, and whatever they experienced in their life, right?
Yeah, they need to be open to spirituality to accept it. So this person I was telling, the boyfriend, so
Mm,
actually he is very scared of falling ill. And um he takes immense good care of his health. He eats healthy, he exercises daily, he meditates. His health is awesome. Like all the tests that he has done is great, but he has this anxiety that something is going to happen to him, and it is related to his father.
Mm.
His father passed away, and he had cancer, and it was very tough time for him, and he was feeling the anxiety of his father. And
Mm.
in his, in his lineage, there have been more people who have this fear of ill health, falling ill, and something's going to happen to you because you'll fall ill, and then there is no solution. So there is this anxiety which is beyond you. So
Mm.
you don't understand that doctor has told you, so many different doctors have told you that nothing is happening to you, perfectly normal, everything is good, and still you have anxiety. So then you have to look outside.
Yeah, and I think it's even been proven by science now, because we have
Yeah.
concept of epigenetics, where they have where they did a test on like a family of mice. So those mice were trained to fear a certain sound, and even their kids were also scared of the same sound even when they were not exposed to it. And
Yeah.
this continued until 7 generations. So the seven
My
generations
God.
of those mice were scared of that sound. After the seventh generation, the eighth generation was the one who was not bothered about that sound. So just imagine, like, if there is such a trauma that perhaps someone 7 generations back might have experienced on either side,
Yeah.
like on the mother side, on the father side. Imagine like how big the net becomes, right? The tree
Yeah.
is such a big tree,
Yeah.
and you might be carrying that in your DNA now. We carry the ancestral karma or trauma in energy form as well. So there's that component as well, right? And when it comes to things like poverty mindset or something, that also gets carried
Yeah.
over. People who are from India, like us, we have
Yeah.
experienced, our generations have experienced so much war and colonization and famines. So all of us are like into a concept of frugality and saving and being safe in our careers and not going after our dreams and all of that, and we have to consciously make an effort to come out of it, right?
That's so that's so true. Yeah, like it's so deep rooted that when you take some risks, which are not actually risks, you just make a big investment, but you can
Hmm.
definitely survive making it. It is shunned upon by your family members because they still have that mindset. They feel like it's it's very foolish to do it. They
Yeah.
don't see that something good may come out of it.
Mhm. From all your experiences, all your modalities, what is the one take home message that always comes back to you and you would like to share?
I think be gentle with yourself
Mm.
when you are in this spiritual journey of healing. Be gentle with yourself. It may be very easy for you to understand, I have been healing this for 3 years and still those triggers are happening. Know that you have healed probably 7 layers, and this is the
Yes.
eighth one. And maybe you've healed completely, but triggers happen still. It doesn't mean that you've not healed. So be gentle with yourself. Go at the pace that is comfortable for yourself. And you're doing a good job. Because you are in this space, you're doing a good job.
Yeah. Healing is a journey, right?
Yeah.
And a lifelong one.
Yeah.
So, where can people find you if they have to hire you for any of your modalities?
Thanks for asking that. My Instagram handle is Compassion Queen 111 and I have my heal.me profile linked in my bio. So there, the services are available. You can read up about those services, or you can just DM me on my page.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'll mention everything in the description as well. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
giving us this your time, and thank you for sharing so many of your experiences, even personal experiences, and we really value everything that you shared and the wisdom that was passed on. So, thank you, and looking forward to another conversation sometime in the future.
Thank you so much. Same here. It was a complete flow. I loved learning from you about your past life regressions, and I'm already excited. I might have a session soon. And yeah, like, thanks for this opportunity.
I also learned a lot from you. Thank you so much for that.
Most welcome. Yeah, thank you so much.